Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone, based on wherever you are and at the time you're watching this video. Please, if this is the first time you're watching our videos, we plead with you, you follow the page, share, like, and comment. Thank you. Today, we are coming to talk about something we believe is more special. That is something about the King James Bible. You know, one of our to see a lawyer preacher in Africa is in Nigeria, Siyawan, spoke about King James Bible, and from the family the Bible was written, and why maybe some of we Africans we still believe that we need to abandon everything on this earth and seek for the heavenly freedom, or fighting to go to heaven, while other people are fighting to preserve this land. Those who wrote the Bible, the real family who wrote the Bible to, how do we call it, are fighting, preserving everything here. They even have a gold reserve in their country where they don't have any man in sight. So why are we adding something to it? Today, we want to add small, even how and why the British separated themselves from the Catholic Church. That is why today we are here. And you describe the reason why Henry VIII separated himself from the Catholic Church, and then a reason your friend is James himself who wrote the Bible or asked for the new translation of the Bible. You be explaining in and with King James Bible, the question we do ask: can someone preach against a divorce? Maybe divorce your wife, or maybe can someone even preach against polygamy? We are yet to know if someone with King James Bible can do so or not. We are yet. We all will judge together. So Henry VIII, it was through Henry VIII the British separated themselves from the Catholic Church. Why? Because Henry married to a wife called Catherine of Aragon. And Sani married between Sir Catherine of Aragon, or your friend is just a female, a lady. And that time there was no that time, you know, after Henry James, they make a reformation so a woman can be enthroned as the queen. Before it wasn't like that. So it was through a male lineage. So Henry, his desire to have a male child became so this thing for him, to the extent that he chose to marry another wife, or even divorce Catherine, so that he will have the opportunity to marry to another woman. To do so, he asked this thing from the Catholic Church, but then it was Pope Leo X. But they refused it because it is against the law of the church that is to get divorced. It is not possible, and you cannot marry two. Polygamy is not accepted. It was not accepted, but it is not even accepted today by the Catholic Church. So it was something forbidden for him to do, but according to the this thing of the rules and the regulation of the church. And Henry was one of the king who devoted himself severely to the church. He was so devoted to the extent that he was not willing to go against the rules or the terms of the church. But his desire to have a male child moved him to take a decision that we will talk today. And the Henry, say Obeja, your friend is Catherine. Now, Pope Leo X. There was no agreement with one Tiasia. What was his plan? Henry planned to do the thing by himself, together with some of his cardinals in England. But then it was still the Catholic Church called Cranmer. So James Henry decided that due to the marriage between Catherine, it was that thing was he quoted a Bible verse in the Bible of Leviticus 20:21, because Henry, you know why? Henry married to his brother. And you know, it is written in the Bible that anyone who married to his brother's wife, or who have intercourse with his brother's wife, may it be a case that he may not have a child. So Henry justified his decision to leave Catherine because he believed that was a punishment from God to him, not having a male child because of marrying to his brother's wife. Nti na ne decision na ne say wakɔwale ne nua yire, nti ne nua yire na ɔwale yɛ nti na yɛfɛ ne sɛ ɔntimi wo a male child. Nti the best thing is ɔbɛyɛ then ɔbɛgyae Catherine of Aragon na wakɔwale ɔbaa foforɔ. Nti ɔkɔfa a yɛfɛ ne sɛ girl woman bi a na ɔwɔ ne fie a na ɔyɛ yɛfɛ ne sɛ ne court lady a yɛfɛ no Anne Boleyn. Ɔkɔfa Anne Boleyn sɛ ɔbɛwale no. Pope wante ase amma no. Sata no na Pope Clement ene wo ho. Ono so wante ase amma no. Nti to do so, how do he do? Because the desire is like the throne was nearly going back to into the hands of the Spanish. That time to the Spanish kingdom was very strong. That was around 500. I'm talking about that was 526, 530 going. The Spanish and the British kingdom was very strong, and they were carrying slaves from Africa to the new land they discovered. So they were fighting for this kingdom. Henry knew by mistake the Spanish is going to take over the throne, because Catherine of Aragon was from Spain, also from one of the royal family of Spain. That time, by then, Philip was the king of the Spanish kingdom. So to do so, what did he do? They stripped Catherine off all her titles as the queen of the United Kingdom. They strip off everything, and then the case was justified by Cranmer himself, that the King of England is sovereign over the church. He's sovereign over the church. He is bigger than the church, and can choose to separate or divorce a wife willingly if he wants. And due to the marriage between Henry and Catherine, because the wife Catherine was his brother's, but they justified with Leviticus 20:21. So they cancelled the marriage, and Catherine was sent out. Immediately, Henry married a friend. He said, Anna Boleyn. Anna Boleyn was pregnant. She gave birth to a female. She got another pregnancy again, and then the fear, because there was a threat, because the mission was she has to produce a male child to the king. One time and also on your miscarriage due to the accident. Henry ninyaye ayem shishima ninya miscarriage. Omukoshe na kolano no oyebema. Due to that miscarriage, Henry couldn't take it anymore. Then Henry, what did Henry did? Henry chose to accuse. They accused Anne Boleyn, but the same people of Cranmer, that Archbishop, they accused her of an adultery. So those people, they said she had something with them, were executed, and Anne Boleyn too was also executed. He got married to giving chance, because the wife is dead. She acted contrary to the rule of the court, so she was executed. Now the king was free, but that was not true. That was the will for the king to be able to marry to another wife. He married to another lady called Jane Seymour, and James was able to give her a child, but due to the hardship in labor, she died. So the son was Edward IV, who later began Prince Edward IV. He married, but all these things, King James, Henry married 6 wives due to this lack of to have male child. He married 6 wives. And they say, "Oh, Ghana now the King James Bible preaching against polygamy." I don't know why. Because many people, most people, yes, say, "Oh, yes, pa." Untimi fa King James Bible, near them. And preaching against polygamy and a divorce, because out of divorce, how do we call it? This man Henry was able to have a male child. So I don't know how you people study the Bible and preaching against polygamy and so and so. So after the death of before he died, Henry died. Henry was a well-devoted member of the Catholic Church. Actually, he was even given a title by Pope Leo by them as fidei defensor, that the defense of the faith. After his publication of how do you call it? He made a publication of defense of the seven sacraments. After he made the Accessio Septem Sacramentorum. Sacramentorum, I think you may, that is the seven sacrament. After his publication, he was even well known and acknowledged by the Pope then. So he was well devoted to the church, but due to his lack to have a male child, lead him to separate himself. But the final separation from the church came when he decided to destroy the shrine of St. Thomas at Canterbury Church. Because after his separation from the church, he became the sovereign lord of the church, and they were not going before the rule of the Catholic Church anymore. The Anglican Church take its own decision, and that is when the king was overlord of the church. So nothing was coming to Rome, and the worst thing is burning the shrine of a church, and that is what he did. So he was finally sent out from the how do we call it, from the church by the Catholic Church. He was excommunicated from the church. And if the church communicate you, that means you have nothing to do. Even after your death, you will not be buried by the church. And that was what it. So see, hearing that thing, Henry was furious, and then he destroyed every shrine that was in the church in England. He destroyed everything. After destroying, that was the end of it. So the British were finally out of the Catholic Church. They have their own church. They called the Anglican Church, which is known here as Protestant. Okay. After his death, his son was only 9 years. So there were people who were ruling before him, but he was the king, but he was not able to do it because he was to be 18 years before he can rule. That time, James was the king of the Scots. He wasn't the king of the United Kingdom. So he was James the VI, the king of Scotland. But then, Elizabeth I, son of Henry, a daughter of Henry, was the queen. She ordered the death to execute the mother of James himself, James the king, who later became the king of the United Kingdom, who wrote the King James Bible. James, seeing this threat, after becoming the king of the United Kingdom, he ordered to rewrite the Bible so that he will have the sovereign power over the. So the first Bible written, King James Bible, everything was just centered at by King James. The pictures, the cover, everything was King James as the sovereign law of the Church of England and the king of the church. So he represented, and that was the only way he could do to save the mother Mary from Elizabeth. Because why Elizabeth chose to execute Mary? Because Mary was still with the Catholic Church. So he made a treaty that ruled against the Protestant treaty of England. And that by then, being the queen, as how do we call it, Elizabeth I, being the queen, there was no way she could accept that. So the best thing was to execute the sister. She was her sister, but not from the same mother, because I told you people, Henry married 6 wives, and out of these 6 wives, he had a lot of children, and some of them were women. Most of them were women. Only a male child, that was Edward the Fourth, who later became King Edward the Fourth, Prince Edward. So with King James Bible, this is how it came out with self-centered, the will to have children, the will to be a sovereign lord of the Church of England, and the will to save the mother, King James himself, from Elizabeth I, from her execution. So that is how King James, or the King James Bible, came out with. It wasn't, and that is why it was not accepted here in Rome, because the way it was accepted. And being so, James doing so, he made the Bible become so common to everyone, because before it wasn't common to everyone. Na Bible na enye common sa nye obi a na timi kan, because na pope na archbishops no kwa na omo kan na e only one Bible mu kokọ church a omo preach wi asa. And James managed to do so. That is why King James Bible became famous. It's not like it is famous because the text is correct, or I'm saying it is wrong. It is accepted because they rewrite it, translate it, and they make an agreement with the Catholic Church. So every something where some changes were made, and now the Bible is well accepted worldwide. But it was not written just because of an angel or a prophet reveal it to them. No, because out of their own will to be the sovereign Lord of their own church. That was it. And to be able to marry to, or to even divorce, to be able to divorce and to have absolute power, and to also keep the money the church was making, to keep it in England. That was the mission. It is a Ghana. So you can say King James Bible, you preach against divorce. I can't tell you say omo King James Bible no. Omo de divorce by because omo so na sha ase. And I say omo ka say polygamy, so I can't tell you say Henry married 6 wives or married 6 wives. Henry the Anglican Church, through him King James Bible came out, or wale 6 wives. And James also betwas ono so by ono so be self-centered into the Bible. Ni pictures ni Biblia and the other can say na ya rewriting new translation version and so and he say King James Bible, but it is not famous because it is too correct or it is too accurate, but it is famous because how do I say it? Because it made it common to everyone. So that was the only Bible people were having those days, because the Catholic Church, you don't have access to it. In the Bible na ye common na ye King James, upia bon the Bible obenhu King James, but nya omo no omo de can translate ye. Eye man bi no ono so yi adwuma wo Catholic Church e wo Rome ha, GM Martin Luther. Ono kra support to the art of the divorce. Ono support to din your friend is Henry say onja ha ketre. Odi kofa anebole na echire ye execute no. Nti na the yewo homa mononom. Nti King James Bible is not, how do we call it? It's not written, it was not revealed by any prophet or by it was out of the will of the British themselves to be sovereign of their own church and to keep their thing, to be able to do their thing according to their own way. That is how King James Bible came up with. If this is the first time you are watching, please, we still remind you to follow the page, share, like, and comment. Mr. We share, we are Mr. Follow page, na share, mami. That's it.